Hey, were you absent? Do you just need a little bit of extra help? I just wanted to make a little video for you so you kind of knew what we did today. Keep in mind that I am making this video on Tuesday, which is January 19th, but this also applies for anybody that is in geometry on Wednesday, the 20th. Okay, you're just going to look at a different date on Canvas, otherwise it's all the same information. Okay. So where do you get the information from? It's right here on your home page. Remember, you're going to go to this week, or you can directly go into modules. It's fine. You probably won't see Tuesday and Thursday because I'm in as myself, but you're just going to find today's date, Tuesday, January 19th. Or again, if you're in 5th period or 6th period geometry, make sure you look for Wednesday, January 20th. Today's objective, we're actually going to do the Hinge Theorem. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a GeoGebra thing. I'm going to walk you through some workbook pages, so go get that big, ugly, brown book, okay? You're also going to do an online textbook activity, and that might take a little bit of explaining on where to go and how to find it. So I'll help you through that. And then you're going to do a quizzes on your own, okay? So, having said all of that, let's go get started, okay? I'm going to show you what the Hinge theorem is, okay? All right, so we're in GeoGebra. I'm hoping that you can see this okay. But there are two triangles, and there's some really important things I need to point out to you as far as these triangles are concerned, okay? So first of all, these two triangles are congruent. Remember, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, right? That CPCTC thing. So we have a triangle with side 6, here's side 8, this one is side 8, and then we have an angle in between. So I don't know if you remember the SAS, side, angle, side, okay? This angle happens to be 33 8/10 of a degree, and so is this angle, okay? And so because we have given to us, and I took away that third side because I want to show you this, but because we have side, angle, side, and we have side, angle, side, okay, and they're congruent, I know that the opposite sides, the 4.5 and the 4.5, the red and blue sides, I know they're the same because they're congruent. But what happens with an inequality? Remember, they're not equal. One's bigger, one's smaller, right? So what happens to the side lengths if you change those angle measures? So I want you to watch, okay? This angle is going to stay 33.8, but I'm going to change this angle over here. So I'm going to drag this letter F. I'm actually going to make it bigger. So now this angle is 70.7. Notice the side is still 6. This side is still 8. This is 6. This is 8. 33.8 is smaller than 70.7. And then 4.5 is smaller than 8.3. You can kind of think of it as like hinges on a door, right? So your door, when it's closed, right, the sides are the same. But the bigger you open the door, the wider it opens and the bigger distance between the edge of the door and the closing space, okay? So right now, this angle B is greater than angle A, so I know that FD is greater than EC. Likewise, if you go the other direction, so let's say I go smaller than 33.8, now all of a sudden that blue side is only 3.2 and it's smaller than 4.5, okay? All right, let's go back into Canvas, and now we're going to go do workbook pages 143 and 144. So again, if you have your big ugly brown book, you're definitely going to want to write some problems down. If you don't have that book, remember you're going to click on anything with a star. It's an assignment. You can find in here the workbook pages. So if you don't have anything to take a camera or take a picture with, like if you don't have a camera to take the picture with, you can always open this with DocHub or with Cami, and you can write right on the PDF, okay? All right, let's go in and do some of these problems together. All right, so I printed these off so that I didn't have to write in my, my workbook, but this again is just pages 143 and 144. 44. And I'm just going to go over a couple of examples with you so that you kind of see how they work, because they do get a little hairy, but not too bad, I promise, okay? All right, here we go. Ready? Number 1. We need to compare the given measures, and they tell us A, B, and D, E. So we're going to write on the line A, B, leave some space, and then we're going to put D, E. And I need to decide which side is bigger. Is AB bigger or is DE bigger? So if we look at our picture, we have side, angle, side marked, side, angle, side marked. So according to the Hinge Theorem, okay, if this was a hinge, 46 is bigger than 44. So this opening is going to be larger or longer than this opening. So the symbol that you're going to put in the middle is a greater than sign. Remember, AB is larger, and so the symbol should be opening up to the AB. Okay? All right, let's go do that with number 2. With number 2, we have side, angle, side by that reflexive property you may or may not remember. Okay? Side, angle, side. We have to compare side AB and side BD. So go ahead and write that down, leave a space. And then you just need to decide. Across from 52 is AB. Across from 47 is BD. Since 52 is bigger than 47, AB is bigger than BD. And so again, our symbol should open up to the AB. Okay? All right, let's go do number 3. Number 3 is actually the converse. So if you see that, it just means converse. But don't worry about it. I'll show you what it looks like. It's the same thing, okay? We're going to compare the measure of angle WXY and the measure of angle ZYX. So again, you can write them down, leave a space. We have side. Here's my other side. Remember that reflexive property again. And then the angle in between is right here. Okay, so WXY. If I start at W, go down to X, go over to Y, we're looking at this opening. Okay, ZYX. I start at Z, go to Y, go to Z. I'm looking at this opening here. Okay, if 3.4 is smaller than 4.7, then this angle in here has a smaller opening. That's the converse. You can look at it the other way and talk about the angles. Okay, so since 3.4 is smaller than 4.7, angle WXY is smaller than ZYX. So remember, it opens up to the bigger angle. Okay? All right, last one, LNM and QSR. Again, I'm just going to go write that down. Okay? And I'm going to do it again. So here's my side. We're talking about this angle in here. We're looking at this angle in here. LNM, QSR. 3.1 is across from this one. 3.3 is across from that one. So which one is bigger? You're going to put that symbol here. Notice I'm not doing it for you this time. Okay, so see if you can figure that out. All right, number 5. So number 5, we have to decide what the restrictions are on X. And this is the one that's a little bit on the hairy side, but let's go through it, okay? Here is our other side by reflexive property. This 8x minus 2 is pointing to that angle and this angle, okay? So I know that 8x minus 2, I'm going to compare to 142. 8x minus 2 is across from 3. 142 is across from 3.3, so that's bigger. Okay, so 142 is bigger than the 8x minus 2. I'm just going to solve this. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. And then I'm going to divide by 8, and I'm going to use my handy-dandy calculator and get an 18. Okay, here's the problem, though. X has to be less than 18, but there's another restriction that we have to put on that variable because this variable, this expression is expressing an angle. And so that expression needs to be bigger than 0. Because if that angle is 0 degrees, guess what? The door is shut on the hinge, right? There's no opening, so it's got to be bigger than 0. So I'm going to add 2, divide by 8, and I'm going to get a 2/8 or a 1/4. So I know that my variable, my x, has to be between 1/4 and 18. So it has to be less than 18, but it's got to be bigger than 1/4. And so it gets written like that. Okay. Number 6 is kind of the same way, all right? Since 5x minus 2 is across from the 21, I'm going to compare that with the 17. 17 is across from 25, and so that 17's got to be bigger. So you're going to solve this equation, and then same thing. You want this 5x plus 2 to be bigger than 0. Otherwise, the door is completely shut and there's no angle. Okay? So you're going to go solve both of those. All right, so if we look at number 7, I drew a picture in class, and I got to be honest with you, this picture is a little bit nicer. You should have seen the cars I drew in that class. All right, but listen, what you're going to do is draw that picture, okay? So for number 7, you have 2 cars that are leaving the same house, okay? So they're both leaving this house. Car number 1 is going to travel 1.5 miles east and then turn and go 2.5 miles. And the angle that they made is 55 degrees, the angle that the roads made, okay? The second car is going to travel 1.5 miles. It's going to turn and it's going to go 2.5 miles, but its angle is only 50 degrees. Now listen, I know that we're not in in the super future, and it's not Back to the Future, and we don't have a DeLorean that we can like hover and fly or anything like that. But one of these cars, wherever they are, technically is closer to the house. And again, it's not like they're going to hover back to the house, but you can't decide which one is closer. Maybe you could send a drone. We have drones. You could send a drone. Okay. If this angle is smaller than this angle, then if I drew this triangle in, we know that car number 2 is actually closer, okay? Car number 2 is actually closer. All right, so you're going to finish this page. I will tell you for number 8, just to give you a hint, Laura is looking at the wrong angle. So see if you can figure out which angles it's supposed to be, okay? Number 9, draw a picture, okay? Draw a picture that represents it, and you'll be able to answer just fine. All right, let's go look at what else you have to do. So if you come back in here, you either click on this week or you click on modules, click on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on what day it is. Remember, in the workbook, you're going to submit one Google Doc with both of your pictures, okay? The next thing you're going to do is the online textbook. There's an interactive lesson check for understanding on your online textbook. Now, where do you go to get that? If you go to the home page, there is a link for your geometry book. So you're going to click on the geometry book, and you need to make sure that you're in the right district, okay? So it's going to ask you, are you, I want to say, a public school or an independent school? Make sure you tell it independent school. Make sure you type in Coral Academy of Science. Make sure it says Sandy Ridge. And then the last thing that you're going to do is you're going to type in your username and password. Now, my username is a little weird, but everybody's username is the same. That is the first letter of your first name and then your last name. And everybody's password is Coral20 with a capital C. If for some reason you cannot get logged in, please shoot me an email and I will help you. Okay? And the last little detail. So after you do that, it will actually save it on the online textbook, and I'll be able to look at it and see how you did. But the last little detail is there is a quizzes practice. Remember, anything with a star is an actual graded assignment. So if you click where it says quizzes practice, there is a link for a quizzes code. It will take you directly there. You can just hit start and practice, practice, practice. Okay?